My name is Oliver, and today I'm going to be sharing the 7 habits that allowed me to become a millionaire in my 20s. I'll be sharing lots of personal insights from what I'm seeing, from what made not only me successful, but also other people that I work with. What are the habits that I see these people have? What do they have in common? Habit number 1, less thinking and more doing. Have you ever found yourself in a cycle of just overthinking? You have an idea, you want to take action, but for some reason you keep thinking about something that might possibly happen. What if I fail? What if I sign a client and I'll not be able to deliver? Because of school, I cannot do it. I found from experience, when I just took action, okay, when I didn't really think about the outcome and I'm just like, look, let me do it. I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Will I face problems in the future? Probably, but that's something I'll deal with later on down the road. One thing I like to say to my friends is that's a problem for future Oliver. So to give you an example, if you're starting your agency and you're worrying about fulfillment, doing service delivery because you've never done it before in the past, instead of just locking yourself in your room and watching like pointless YouTube videos on how to run Google ads and Facebook ads, you will never actually learn those skills until you actually do it. So what I said to myself, I'm like, look, once I sign a client, I'll deal with that problem later on down the road. I'm gonna learn how to do it. But for now, let me just get to the first step, which is signing my first client. Don't overthink things, just find the course of action, what needs to be done, do it, and then worry about the future problems, later down the road. Habit number 2 is being consistent. The amount of people that come to me tell me, Oliver, I've been working on my business for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months, and I'm not seeing any success. The number one thing I ask them is, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing every single day? For most of you guys, is your outreach. It's reaching out to potential clients. So are you reaching out to clients every single day? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing every single day and not putting a timeline on success? You cannot say to yourself, in 1 month, I have to be making money or else it doesn't work, or in 1 week or in 1 day. You have to completely disregard time and just focus again on the course of actions that need to be done every single day. If you give me 2 people, one person who's been super consistent, let's say with his cold calls. Every day he's doing, let's say 30 cold calls, which is not a lot, but he's doing it every single day. And you give me someone else who's doing maybe 100 cold calls, but he only does it twice per week. If you were to ask me which person do I think is more likely to be successful, I would 100% put my money on the person who's doing 30 cold calls every single day. Why? Because he's learning how to become consistent with what he's doing. And this will help later down the road once his business grows and he faces new issues. Because no matter how he feels, he will do the actions every single day. So if you want to see results, just commit yourself to doing what needs to be done every single day, no matter how you feel. Habit number 3 is being able to take risks. And when I say taking risk, I don't mean I took my money, I put it into a random crypto hoping that it would blow up, or I would buy the lottery or do these dumb things. What I mean by taking risk is taking calculated risks. Nothing is certain in life, especially in this business game. You will fall on your face, you will lose money, you will lose deals, bad things will happen. It's just part of the process. But you have to be willing to risk those things in order to take a step forward and see success. For most of you guys, it's risking money. You might buy a software, you might have to invest, some money to acquire a client. There's multiple places where you probably have to put some money in where it's a risk. You're not too sure if you're going to see your ROI back. But that's something you have to do, and you have to be content with the idea of, I will lose money in this process, I will lose time, but it's part of the process. It's part of the game. Okay, take calculated risks, not dumb risk where you're just blowing your money. The number one place where I see people like wasting their money is probably people who want to become traders. They'll have a couple $100, they'll put it in the stock market, and although they might make some money from it, even though they might do, let's say, a 5% profit trade, which is quite a lot, if you take 5% of $100, it's only $5. So what's going to happen? You're going to want to put even more money and risk even more, because $5 is nothing. And if you're just starting out, the likelihood of you having a huge bank where you can just trade, invest and stuff like that, it's probably not high, because people who do have a significant amount of money are not trading. They're way up there. Okay, they understand the other types of services, the other businesses that you have to start in order to see success. Sometimes the greatest rewards come from stepping out of your comfort zone. Habit number 4 is probably one of the most important ones. Being able to learn, but also adapt on what you learned. Many people will spend hours and hours, days and days watching YouTube videos, maybe reading books, watching podcasts. But the issue is that for most of you guys, your rate of learning is not equal to your rate of action. So you might learn a bunch of new things, learn a bunch of productive things, but your rate to actually apply those things into action and to actually execute on those things is essentially non-existent. This is what I see. It's a form of procrastination. Okay, you're on the computer, you're watching YouTube videos, you feel good because you feel like you're learning new things. But when you do learn these new things, how quickly are you to act on those new things and actually put it into action? For most of you guys, it's non-existent. There's nothing there. So it's very important not only to learn things, but also to apply those things into action and actually see the outcomes, see the results of those learnings. Habit number 5 is building a personal brand. Most of the successful entrepreneurs that I see around me online, they all have some sort of personal brand. It might be a personal brand, it might be a business brand, but the idea is that they're putting themselves out there in the marketplace. If all you do is consume knowledge and you never give, then you're never going to receive. There's this saying online that basically says, you know, the more you give, the more you'll receive in exchange. If you're just consuming, if you're a consumer and you never actually produce content around your business and you don't put your name out there, it will impact your rate of growth with your business. Can you become successful without, you know, putting yourself out there? Probably, but it's not going to be the quickest way. At least from experience, from what I'm seeing, it's not ideal. You want to put yourself out there. Take, for example, you have business A that has a bunch of content online on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook. They're posting their case studies, they're posting, you know, educational content, trying to help their clients. And you have company B that has no online social presence whatsoever. Let's say both of these companies reach out to a local business. Let's say you're, you know, local landscaping company and you're pitching them marketing services. This person has a bunch of case studies, a bunch of proof, a bunch of educational content that shows that he's actually an expert and knows what he's talking about. And this person has, you know, nothing online. They're both pitching the same thing. They're both priced at the same level. Who do you think the company is more likely to work with? The guy who has a ton of social proof to back up what he's saying, or the guy who's basically non-existent online? It becomes pretty obvious when you frame it that way that the person who does put out content, produce, has a personal brand, is a lot more likely to sign more deals and also make more money because they can charge more most of the time. Don't be afraid of the camera. Put yourself out there. Look, I'm doing it right here. So I'm living proof of I preach what I teach. So this is something I would hop on immediately as soon as you start building your business, start documenting everything and just put it out there. Habit number 6 is extremely important for your mindset. Is having a mindset where nothing is unrealistic. This is something that I learned when I was younger. Many people would frame my goals, my dreams as things being unrealistic. And for me, I never liked that word. I don't like when people say that is unrealistic, that cannot be achieved. Because obviously, if someone else has already done it, or even if someone has never done it, if you set yourself with limits, especially limits imposed by other people onto you, I think that's going to really screw up with your mindset. And that's not something you want in your journey as you're trying to evolve as a person. Successful people understand that the only limits that exist in life are the limits that you set on yourself. It's impossible to think that you can bend a piece of metal and fly across the ocean. Thankfully, the Wright brothers didn't think so. It's impossible. I think Will Smith said this. It's impossible to walk into a room, flip a switch, and have the lights turn on. Thankfully, Thomas Edison didn't think so. So all of these things where maybe back in the day, you know, bending pieces of metals, assembling them together and flying across the ocean might seem like a crazy idea, but today, like airplanes, they exist. It's not a crazy idea for us. But do you honestly think in a world where that didn't exist, if someone came to another person and told them like, hey, my plan is to build something that can fly over the ocean and get us across the world, what do you think the reaction of those people would have been? They'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? That's impossible to do. And if they actually internalize what these people were saying to them, then maybe these things never would have been invented. So the only limits that exist are the ones that you set to yourself. Lastly, habit number 7. This by far is the most important one. Without this, I would not be where I am today. I paid almost $20,000 to make this happen in my life. Even though it did happen before, I reinforced it by doing it again, and I had to pay $20,000 to make it happen. And this habit is surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals or successful people. There's this classic saying of you are the sum of the 5 or 6 people that you surround yourself with. Okay, that is extremely true. As much as it's corny and you hear it all the time, it is extremely true. If you're in the room with a bunch of entrepreneurs and everyone's making, let's say, $100,000 per month, and you're out there maybe making $5,000, $10,000 per month, depending on who you're surrounded with, that same 10,000 can make you feel super rich, but at the same time, super poor. Okay, so if you are surrounded by a bunch of people who are making $100,000 per month and you're making 10,000, let's say, you are not going to be proud of yourself. Now, is that a good thing, bad thing? That's another discussion to have. For me, I view it as a good thing because it's going to push me to reach their level. If they're all flexing 100K per month, I'm like, I need to get to that point too. And I know it's possible because they're actually doing it, and I'm around these people. And these people obviously have the knowledge, they understand how to get to that level. But if you're surrounded by bums, you know, people who just party, they work regular jobs, and they have, it's okay to work a regular job, but if they have no ambition to leave that job and do something with their lives, which again, for some people that might be okay, but for us it is not. But if you're surrounded by those people who just go out on the weekends, they party, they do dumb things, they play video games, are you likely to be someone who builds a 100K per month business surrounded by those people? It's possible, but it's not likely. It's not the best environment to put yourself into. Because when you start talking about 10K per month, are they going to relate to you? Are they going to encourage you to make 100? Probably not. Okay, because they don't believe it. They don't understand how you can make 100K per month, and I'm speaking from experience. Going back to what I said earlier, the $20,000 expense, you might be asking, what the hell is that? I essentially paid to join a mastermind, a group of entrepreneurs who are also very successful at their businesses, and that has allowed me to unlock new levels of knowledge, which in return allowed me to make more money. So for me, what I decided to do is to create my own community, my own pool of entrepreneurs or people who are ambitious, who want to become entrepreneurs, and just basically have that community for them. Because I know when I started, I felt very much alone. My friends didn't understand me, my parents didn't understand me, and I felt like I had no help, no support, no one to sort of share ideas with and sort of validate what I'm trying to achieve in life. One of the most important things, like when someone comes to me, asks me, Oliver, how do I make money? I'm like, find your group, find your friends who are doing what you're doing. All right, so if you guys are looking for a community, you can join our team. I have a free Skool community where basically everyone who I'm helping on a one-to-one basis scale their agencies, you can communicate with them, you can work with them. For example, we have Tyler. Tyler for 2 whole years was trying to start a business. He tried trading, he tried drop shipping, all of these things that these people who are preaching and saying that you can make a bunch of money by doing these things, nothing seemed to work for a whole 2 years. All right, but he joined a community. We helped him change his mindset, helped him not give up on his goals, and now he finally closed his first client. And Tyler is not the only example. We also have Brandon. Okay, Brandon was cold calling. He was very consistent. He was cold calling every single day to reach his goals, to sign his first client. But what he lacked was the proper tools to get to his goal. So that's when we gave him our essentially proven script to cold call. I mean, we've worked with over 250 agency owners now, so we've basically mastered what works and what doesn't work depending on the niche, the offer, what you're trying to push out in the marketplace. So when someone comes to me and say, Oliver, I work with roofers and I want a cold call, boom, I find someone who's already doing it, who's making money. Here you go, just copy that framework. And that's exactly what we did with Brandon. He booked his first meeting using the new cold calling script that we provided. We helped him tweak it up to his niche to make it a bit more specific to what he or who he was going after. And then his first 30 minutes of cold calling booked his first meeting. Isn't that incredible? Today you guys learned lots of useful things, but all of this learning is useless if you don't actually act on it. So write down everything, keep it in mind, and just slowly try to incorporate one of these habits to your life. And you'll see, as soon as you incorporate one, you will see some sort of improvement in your life, and then it will become easier to implement the second, the third, fourth, and then all of these levels. As usual, guys, if ever you have any questions, feel free to just personally message me on Instagram, on Skool, whatever platform you like to use. Otherwise, we'll see each other in the next video. Again, thank you very much.